You can start.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from the Philippines. Mabuhay. International Internship University is a leading virtual education system and global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses in internships to their e-learners across the globe with the help of its more than 1,000 global educators. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Peyush Pandit. Share my screen. I will share my thoughts on mental wellness and humor. What can you say about the cartoon image from Gary Larson's Far Side? Going through the process of a scientific investigation, it cringes you no end on what will happen once the roll starts. It's even tied up to the wheel. Good luck, brave fellow. But before we proceed to our particular session on humor, we will define first 3 bigger items. Unfortunately, many people casually use mental illness terms to describe certain situations. For example, someone saying, I'm so OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, when they insist upon having a clean workspace or saying, I was so depressed when this session in wellness and humor was canceled to describe feelings of disappointment. These casual statements misrepresent the important differences that exist among mental wellness, mental health, and mental illness. Mental wellness is defined as having both an awareness of your emotions and the ability to manage and express those feelings in a healthy and age appropriate manner. It includes having both good mental and physical health, high life satisfaction, and a sense of meaning. More generally, well being is just feeling good about yourself and your life. Mental health, on the other hand, is made up of our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. It can be negatively impacted by such things as living in a difficult marriage, struggling with aging parents, or poor work life balance. Mental illnesses are specific diagnosable health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior where a combination of three. Mental illnesses are associated with distress and or problems functioning in social, work, or family activities. They are medical diagnoses that have behavioral components like any medical condition, such as heart disease or diabetes. Understanding the differences among the three terms can go a long way to help ensure that you have benefits and support in place for the entire continuum. Mental wellness is a positive state of mental health. It is more than the absence of mental illness. Being mentally well means that your mind is in order and functioning in your best interest, of course. You're able to think, feel, and act in ways that create a positive impact on your physical and social well being. The importance of mental wellness are positive to be made positive, well, self assured, and happy. They are people in control of their thoughts, emotions, and behavior. This enables them to handle challenges, build strong relationships, and enjoy life. Achieving good mental health will enable you to realize your own abilities, cope with the stress and challenges of life, engage in productive work, contribute to your community. Sustain mental health requires time and effort. The more you invest in your mental health, the stronger it will become. Working through mental wellness are many ways you can enhance your mood, build resilience, and get more enjoyment out of life. Just pay attention to your own needs and feelings. Express your thoughts through a journal or blog to understand more about yourself. Work toward your objectives. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Take balanced meals, exercise regularly, limit alcohol consumption, avoid smoking and other harmful substances. Build strong relationships. Make time for family and friends and share life's joys and sorrows with them. Of course, also have to consider financial budget. Avoid overspending and focus on needs instead of wants. Volunteer for civic duties, being involved in the community, gives a sense of purpose and satisfaction. Learn to be at peace with yourself. That's the most important thing when it comes to wellness. Get to know who you are and what makes you happy. Acknowledge what you can and cannot change about yourself. Identify your abilities and weaknesses. Accept them, build on them, and do the best with what you have. Now, with refers to mental wellness, how can humor can fit in? Would fit in. Humor can have a powerful effect on people. Research shows that when people find something funny, they tend to pay more attention to it and remember it better in the long term. As you can see the image or the GIF here posted, what kind of tree can fit in your hand? A palm tree. A palm tree. So it could be actually used as a springboard in an English subject or about sustainability, about trees. Furthermore, humor has an invigorating effect and can make people feel more interested in what's going on and more energized. These benefits are important since they suggest that humor could be a valuable tool to use in educational contexts, both by teachers who are trying to teach better as well as by students who are trying to facilitate their own learning. As you can see, we have 6 and 2 here, and they're discussing an odd couple. So when you refer it to math, an odd couple, odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. So even better when you talk about even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you are actually relating relationship in terms of even and odd people as to also even and odd numbers. So that's the beauty of integration. Relationships, mathematics, social skills, and numerical skills. This example illustrates how using simple humor in the classroom can lead to better learning outcomes for students. Furthermore, as noted above, in addition to improvements in performance, Research also shows that the use of humor by teachers also leads to a better overall classroom environment. This leads students to report higher levels of motivation and satisfaction throughout the learning process and to rate their lecturers more positively in their evaluations. So you can see six actually being courteous and being gentlemanly in his way by saying after you. But what happens now? You're leading out a number that it's non-terminating and non-repeating. That is the value of what? The value of pi, 3.1415 and something. So, do you think 6 has an opportunity, will have an opportunity to cross over? Then, yes, your answer is right. No, because it's non-terminating, non-repeating. So, 6 cannot cross over. Even a couple of months, he will just stay there if he has the patience. Again, what are the last four digits of the value of pi? So when you think of it, there's no last four digits because as I mentioned earlier, and as we know in math, it's non-repeating and non-terminating. So the value of pi is that. So if a woman is asked for a number, so you just tell him instead of trying to say something negative, or try to just uh, try to make it appear that that you're not interested. You just say my pin is the last, or my telephone number is the last four digits of pi. In math, when the instructor tells a joke that only math majors would know, it will not be funny. Or a math professor telling a joke, an intellectual joke, and none understood him. As a teacher, please do not make funny literary references that your students didn't understand or care about. So, so I'm also a math teacher. It's already hard teaching math to students. So when we talk about math, there's an acronym to it. So kindly read. What is the acronym of math? Mental abuse to humans. So sometimes when we talk about math, either it is a subject related or teacher related, that we try to avoid math. But don't think of it as something that actually we take for granted or it's a difficult subject to learn, especially when each and every individual has a number to it because you have your particular birthdays. So my birthday is around October 7th, so my host here, Dr. Emina, would remember that. So you just offer me something come my birthday, Dr. Emina. So it's October 7th, I repeat. So the worldwide audience will also try to remember that. Doc Nolly's birthday is October 7th. So don't ask me about the year when I was born. The compliments, when you say, are you cold? Come sit in the corner. It's 90 degrees. So that's 90 degrees seems hot, right? So when you say, are you cold? So you try to come over to make you warm. So the confluence of temperature and math angles. It is a cute joke. You can see it below. A cute joke. Is it an acute or not? Mathematically, it is not an acute angle. When we refer to 90 degrees in terms of mathematics, it is a right joke since it is a right angle. Can you see the integration? We have temperatures, also dealing with numbers, and we also have uh, angles in mathematics. So what do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. So it's how you pronounce it, whether it's English springboard, an English joke. So what do you call a fake joke? Impasta, imposter, imposter. It's a fake. That's why it's imposter. However, although humor can be beneficial, when it comes to teaching, it's important to note that humor can also have a negative influence in some cases, such as when it's excessive, inappropriate, or hurtful. Accordingly, when using humor in your teaching, it's important to consider the type of humor that you're planning to use and the way in which you're planning to use it. We'll see some guidance regarding this soon. Overall, the evidence that we saw far demonstrates that when used properly, humor can facilitate learning both directly by helping students remember the material better, as well as indirectly by helping foster a more positive learning environment. When you look at the image, let's eat grandma, and the other one, let's eat grandma, the difference is just the placing of the punctuation. So which one is the correct one? The one on top or the one below? When you say let's eat grandma without the apostrophe, what will happen to grandma? You're a cannibal. You're going to eat grandma. While the punctuation or the pause at let's eat grandma below suggests that you're inviting your grandma to eat, not for grandma to be eaten. So it is a situation, a life and death situation for grandma because of a singular punctuation mark. That's why when we talk about diplomacy, so it's a matter of war and peace among diplomats, among leaders of the land, if they misunderstand a word. So when we talk about the British and Americans, they don't understand each other because of the same language they're using. So I'm an engineer. So they have been severally miswritten. So you have an engineer, but he's in good in math. Actually, in our country, probably in other parts of the world, or most part of the world, they teach engineering subject and math in English. So it doesn't mean that when you're good in math, you're not also good in English. So it's just a myth actually. When you say I'm engineer, I'm not good in English, but I'm good with math. So it's actually a way of trying to make yourself funny. I'm not good in English, but I'm good with math. So let's pause for a moment of science. So usually when we start class, also in our situation in school, so being a Catholic school, though non-sectarian in practice, so let us pause for a moment of silence, just a prayer. But for science, let's pause now for a moment of science. For a moment of science. So we're trying to make it, make something totally generic or totally common to something spectacular, to something that is new to our hearing. And we're using pun. Instead of silence, we're going to replace it with science. So that's the beauty of using words, using puns, using homonyms, using homophones. Iron Man is actually female. So how can be female? Huh? What can you see here? Iron Man is actually female. So is the what is the chemical element for iron? It's Fe. So man, another word for man is male. So when you combine the two supposedly words, it becomes female. So Iron Man is female. So following the logic. This means that humor can be a beneficial tool that whether you're an educator or a student, as long as humor is directly related to the topic being discussed, there are many ways to use humor in this context, such as the following: showing a humorous comic to help illustrate an important point, using a humorous mnemonic device to help remember a key concept, or telling a humorous anecdote to help emphasize a significant issue. Now, what do you have here? So what do you call this table? So sometimes many are frightened when they see this uh, giant table with all those elements. So this is the periodic table. So how do you feel if you're presented with this, Doc Ermina, and the larger audience beyond in our audience watching today? So you'll be challenged. You'll be challenged actually because this is something challenging to consider. So, but there's a way to claim periodic table in our favor. So, I'm Dr. Nolly, so my nickname is Nolly. I can identify myself by using the letters of my name with the periodic table. So, how can we do that? So, using my initials, Nolly, Noli, N becomes nitrogen. O becomes, you look at the table, becomes oxygen. Li becomes lithium. Can you see the beauty in that? When you try to make something, the students be identified with something as challenging as the periodic table, then they will see a table that is usable, almost as functional as the table they're using actually in school, in dining table. So they can claim it as theirs, that it belongs, that they can identify. So when we use Dr. Irmina's name. So we'll try to figure out Dr. Irmina. Just to make it as spontaneous as it could be. So Irmina. So I'm just putting my face close to the table because my eyes are not that good anymore. So ER, we're looking for that, the chemical element 68. That's ernium. ER, can you see that? I don't know if you are seeing it. Here, yes, no. ER. So ER is erminium. Then we're looking for M. So M, there's MO, Mn manganese, mobilinum. So M, there's no singular M here. So we just keep it for this moment and go to I. I becomes what? Iodine, chemical element 53. Then Na. So Na is what? Part of the easier elements to remember, sodium. Now, so we're missing M, the letter M. Even though there's MO, MB, Mn, Mt, manganese, and so forth, we can also look that in another part of the list. And I will show this particular list, which is interesting and historically correct. So there's actually, you can see now, the one I'm showing you, this image of the list of those elements that's been discarded, or being disproved, or being discredited, or just being plain replaced by the newer forms or newer names. So we can look for M here. So where's M here, Dr. Emina? So you can see it's alphabetized. So M happens to be where? Can you make out our audience what M is that? I cannot see it, but it's chemical element 17, which is replaced now by the chemical chlorine. So if you can see the history of chlorine, its former name happens to be part of Dr. Emina's name. What name is that? M is for Moriaticum. Moriaticum. So Dr. Emina. So our students learn something not only with regards to the elements of the periodic table, but also the etymology, the origin of the word. Many of the elements came from Latin words, right? Okay, like gold and silver, Ag and Au, aurum, that's gold, right? So even silver, the Ag. So you just have to look and figure out the etymology or origin of the words, where they're being replaced and why they've been discredited, or why are they being proposed into a different name. So also some of the names happen to be the ones who discovered them, right? So you can see the beauty not only with what is being laid as elements, but you also know the history behind each of the elements. So that's the beauty of discovery. That's the beauty of progressive education. That's the beauty of uh, existentialism as well. Never trust an atom. So when you try that, why would you trust an atom? So you're putting emotions and belief and relationships into here. So we're into science, but now never trust an atom. So you ask me, you ask the teacher why, or you ask this yourselves why, in a existentialist and progressive point of view approach to education. Why? Huh? Because they make up everything. Remember all things about what you see, solid, liquid, gas. Atoms make up everything. So you can actually integrate science, philosophy, metaphysics, because that's the point now. It's all about integration. It's about able to get something from here and here, be able to grasp and think different on different levels. After some careful thought, I decided that one possible reason why faculty give you more and the report that humor can produce such low ratings. They don't believe that humor is not actually necessarity in class. Is that they are not aware, or they can be unaware of the positive thoughts, emotions, and behaviors these qualities can elicit from their students. If they were perhaps, they would be more likely to see those qualities as characteristics of effective master teachers and do their best to emulate them. So this is the challenge, teachers. So how to use humor. So when we talk about education, we know that education is a serious business. So when I look into your eyes, education is a serious business, but it doesn't have to be humorless. You see? It doesn't have to be humorless. The most recent work from this group, Basler, Kirk, Keeley, and Bushkit 2017, so we're talking about research, has also revealed that lacking a sense of humor is a quality that students perceive to be reflective of poor teaching. And that examples of quality are never or seldom telling a funny story or joke, being serious all the time, and not smiling or acting jovially around students. So do not be stiff with your students. So when you share positive energy, then it also reflects or mirrors also what the teacher educator is showing. So you just have to show that positive energy as well. We all know that teaching is serious and important. In fact, Bill Busquets and his posse of prolific proteges from Auburn University who had studied and identified the characteristics of excellent master teachers for the past 20 years. So we're talking about a relevant study for the past 20 years. Have indicated that processing and exhibiting a good sense of humor is one of these characteristics. So what you see, B, beryllium is for B, nickel is NiC is for cesium. So be nice. We always be nice. So they be also be nice to us and be nice to the lessons and be nice to the world around them. So you just move forward, pay it forward, be nice. But here comes its other side of the spectrum. Avoid offensive, rude, or sarcastic humor. Examples of such situations: I had a history teacher who tried to tell a joke involving a concentration camp, of all things, and its plain was not funny. Explaining, another example, explaining how to design a cockpit in AutoCAD and comparing it to female body parts. That's a no-no. My math instructor tried to make story problems out of violent situations to make the class laugh, but it was more distracting than helpful. I had a lab mentor who made fun of students without knowing them. This made him seem cold and made me feel distant from the class material. See the fingers? It speaks volume. You don't have to say anything, but when you showed it verbal or non-verbal, they have an impact actually. When you try to transfer knowledge or try to deliver the message. One of my teachers tried to use racial jokes, of all things racial jokes, that didn't go over well with the majority black class. An instructor tried to make joke about race and how it's different to be a Christian or Muslim. No one laughed, and they'll be angry. I found it unnecessary when my instructor used cursing or what she didn't say bad words just to make the effect of humor. So you can see recent comedy, they're using cuss words or telling bad words just to the effect of making it humor. When you compare it 20 years ago, they're not using cuss words. Just they're using words actually that make humor effective by using words or language that are beautiful, respectful, and humorous. So sarcasm, sulfur, argon, calcium, and samarium. So whatever the message you deliver, it also comes back to your and mirror your personality as well. The central element of my personality, probably others, but we trying to change ourselves because when you have existentialism, uh, when you value existentialism as an approach to education, then you have a choice to be better. You have a choice to what career path you'll be. So you have the choice to be happy and a choice to be humorous as well. OMG, while there may be mistakes in delivering humor, when done properly, humor is amazing. My students were unanimous in their opinion that it is possible to learn and have fun at the same time. And they overwhelmingly reported that they enjoy a class more if their instructor uses humor. They also indicated that when a teacher uses humor in the classroom, they learn more like the teacher more and are more likely to talk to their instructor outside the classroom, are more likely to seek help from their instructor about how to do better in class, and more likely to enroll in that instructor classes, and are more likely to give that instructor higher student evaluation scores at the end of the semester. Who would like that? You just raise your hands. Raise your hands. Who would like that? All positive. All positive outcomes and results just from the use of humor. Need I say, if you be genius about it, germanium, nickel, uranium, sulfur, it doesn't take a genius to make us one happy class, family, and the world with a healthy dose of humor. Humor made it all happen for laughter to become the best medicine. When we talk about laughter become a best medicine, humor is the precursor of laughter. So you start with humor and you'll be able to create the laughter and it will also lead as a better medicine. No, you don't have to spend anymore. You just laugh. A love letter, perhaps. You could use neon symbols to represent the letters EN because when you say Happy Valentine, so if you want to be creative in making Valentine with the E, then you just invert. So the E will become the first part of neon. You just invert it. Then you have EN, Valentine, instead. And E. So it's a matter of the perspective. When you try to see it from a different light, from a different position. The use of humor in the classroom has been researched extensively. See Segrist and Hupp 2015, who summarized for earlier I mentioned about Borges, 20 years. This one, Sergis and Hupp 2015, who summarized 41 years. Would you believe? 41 years of literature on humor in the college classroom. And has been shown to have many benefits for students. Let me drink a sip of water. Banas, Dumbar, Rodriguez, and Liu, 2011. Garner, 2006. Haas and Estep, 2016. Polio, 2002. So these are research that affirm the use of humor where it's being researched extensively. And the results are an increase in learning, an increase in self-motivation, an increase in class attendance, an increase in test performance, divergent thinking, learning, a reduction of anxiety and stress in dealing with difficult material, creation of a positive social and emotional learning environment, a creation of common psychological bond between students and faculty. We can name them. And when you name them, it all goes down to its positive effects and results. You can even integrate different fields to come up with the revered Gandhi's wisdom. When there is love, there is life. So, so actually, we're broadcasting it from the Philippines, from the Philippines to India with love. So we also believe in our hero Mahatma Gandhi, who is also our hero, my hero personally. So there is life. There's lithium and iron, and you can integrate chemistry with philosophy. Integration, always with that. If humor leads to laughter, what leads to love? Probably you need to sacrifice an EV from evolve. You take out the EV from evolve to find love. Yeah? Try to take out the letter E and B. So what's left? From evolve, it become love. So, or is it better to give your everything for love to evolve? Wow. When you're in love, you're you're trying to expand on it. So become a poet. You become poetic. That's quite a saying. Would you agree? Again, you will understand the emotion of love once you feel it. So don't force it. Especially to the younger audience, to our learners, you start from studying. Then let the feelings evolve later on as you grow mature with age. When you look at it, the image I'm showing you, it looks like a Scrabble game with planets. Some people confuse planetary conjunction with the image on the right side and a planetary alignment, sometimes referred to as a planet parade. A conjunction implies a shorter than usual distance between objects in the sky, while an alignment means that planets line up in a row in the same area of the sky as seen from the Earth. Staying focused on the 8 main planets, it's also uncommon for all 8 planets to even be in the same part of the sky. This occurs every few thousand years. Probably this is just a trivia to some, but for us in science and math, it's quite an important fact. And was last recorded in 949. Year 949. You figure out. That's how many years ago? 1100 years ago. 1100 years, 1100 years ago. Astronomers predict the next planetary alignment will occur on the night of May 6th. You asked me the question. You asked me what year? 2492. So we cannot reach that year. So we're talking about 400 something, 400, almost 470 years, just to just to see the next planetary alignment from the previous site of 949 to its next unfolding in year 2492. Amazing, right? Failed attempts at humor, either there was no reaction or reaction of a bad feedback. Examples of such situation, mess up a joke, I completely shut down from what he said. My biology teacher is not funny, and this make me lose focus in class. My speech teacher tried to use humor, but she wasn't really very funny. So it didn't help. I had a calculus instructor who would say he had jokes for us. There was never a punchline, and they were really just stories. I think I had words joke and story confused. I have an instructor in history who tries to use humor all of the time, but more often than not, he is the only one laughing. He often resorts to bad puns. So those are just bad examples when humor is not congruent with the majority of the students, are not actually aligned with the topic, or with the subject being discussed. So with regards to proficiency levels, so there's basic, there's intermediate, there's advanced, and there's also an expert. So you can actually take a photo of that, screenshot of that. So what level you would like to be, or where are you right now, or where will you want to be in the next 6 months, in next year, in what level of proficiency you are with regards to humor. Your X-ray showed a broken rib, but we fixed it with Photoshop. So that's the magic of technology. When you use makeup to make a semblance of aesthetics, especially with the face or with the body. So here is the joke could be pun intended, or actually trying to hit where it hurts actually when you say X-ray showed a broken rib, but we fix it with Photoshop. So it could be an IT joke or a computer subject joke. In addition, when using humor as an educational tool, in particular when using it as a teacher in the classroom, there are a few guidelines that are important to keep in mind in order to guarantee that you're using it as effectively as possible while avoiding potential issues. The humor should primarily help students understand the information, though it's of course possible to use humor in general in order to make the classroom feel more welcoming. For the most part, humor should be used primarily to help students understand key concepts in the material. As such, humor should generally be connected to the material that's being studied and serve some function in helping the students understand it. In conclusion, the following are the main takeaways. Humor can be a powerful tool in educational settings since it helps direct people's attention, improves their ability to remember the material, and increases their energy levels, as well as the enjoyment that they derive from the learning process. Accordingly, humor can be an effective educational tool both when it comes to teaching others as well as when it comes to facilitating your own learning. You can employ humor as a learning aid in various ways, such as by thinking of a humorous mnemonic that helps memorize a key concept, or by finding a humorous example that helps illustrate a crucial point. When using humor to facilitate learning, it's important to make sure that the humor is connected to the material in some way and ensure that you use humor strategically limited to places where it can help the most. If you're using humor to teach others, make sure humor that is positive and appropriate while avoiding negative humor, which involve things such as jokes that target specific group of students. Given the situation of the first image I've shown you in this at the start, the poor fellow sitting on top, where shall he sit to have a higher percentage of survival, though not guaranteed? Where do you think, our dear audience, our dear Armina, where will you place the poor fellow so he has a higher percentage of survival? When you look at the stone, inside the wheel's hole, correct. There are many health, environmental, and sustainability problems that needed to be addressed, but are ignored and repeatedly unresolved and flagrantly violated in the name of progress and financial benefits. Do not need to roll down our lives and future the impending disaster. Now, from a progressive and existentialist approach to education, we now go to the social reconstructive approach. When you apply ideas, humor, and material to what is happening in our society, we do not have to roll down to an impending disaster, especially with regards to care of environment, protection of environment, and sustainability. So we have to actually learn. We use our intelligence to protect what is there to be protected. If you were six, what will you do to cross over? Make your own solution. So we're using critical thinking skills for the 21st century. So I'm allowing you time to do that after our talk today. Things come into your life where you will make choices, decisions. I hope, along with my dear friend and eminent Dr. Ermina, that whatever choices you will make, think of humor as both means and ends for proper judgment. All for the common good in class and the bigger world around us. Humor moves us into reflection on how we can, on a personal level, forgive our mistakes and become better persons. Hopefully, as teachers and adults, inspire, motivate, help our students, our people to see beyond our failures as stepping stones to success. Before I end my talk, one final game, guess the letters. Acronym game. So what letters would that be? You see? I, then another I. And what hand symbol is that? What symbol is that? Hand signal? U. IIU. Thank you, Internship International University. I'm Dr. Noli Calderon from the Philippines. Mabuhay.